It's okay. There's no lights over here.
Be prepared to turn that volume up if you know, he's not hearing you, but not too loud.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
We're on. Oh, we're on. Hello.
We're on?
Welcome to the.
Oh, we on?
You're
Oh
on?
my God,
Come on, guys.
I was looking at some text.
And I was going to say, welcome to the conservative poet.
Oh my God. Engineering did a job on me today, and while my head was down. Hello. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Happy wonderful Thursday. For another great show on WOKB 1680. And like we do every Thursday night from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., we here and we talk politics, hot topic, what's going on. And tonight, like every Thursday, is always special. Glad to be here. Glad to be on this wonderful radio station. Glad to be with his audience. But tonight, I want all Ocoee residents, Orlando, Orange County, y'all gotta call in because I really want to hear from you guys. I want to hear. Do we have any common sense Democrat left? Oh gosh, I'll take care of that in a minute. Do we have any common sense Democrat left? Do we have any Democrat with some humanity, with some compassion left in this country? After what took place Thursday at the joint session of Congress with President Trump's speech, what a wonderful speech, and we're going to talk about that and so many other things that we talk about. But since Dr. White is on the line, so today, Amania, you in the studio, so I'm going to give him the opportunity because I want to hear his audio's working. I want people to hear him loud and clear. Because he out there looking good. Dr. White, hello, how are you?
I'm doing very, very well. You know, I'm in the nation's capital. I had to get up here real fast. Left last night about 10:30. Just got in with the car about a couple of hours ago. But you know, if I'm lucky, I may run into Jasmine Crockett. I may run into Al Green. I may run into any of the recalcitrant members of that particular party, if I'm lucky. But if I'm real lucky, I have the opportunity just to go by the White House and wave and say congratulations to the president. But you know, it's cold up here. But you know what? We have a hot topic, and I'm so happy to be on the show. We're going to kick it, right, Judge? And we're going to kick it.
Absolutely. And if you have an opportunity to run to any of the Democrat out there, even some Republican, have him to come on the show.
Absolutely.
Put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Because
You know
I want to know all the lies that Donald Trump was saying on Tuesday. I do.
Of course.
So I want him to come in and explain some of that to us here.
Yes. We would love to have them explain it, but you know, sadly, they can't. But most importantly, is that we, the people who have sense, Voy, the judge, Amania, Sister Warrior, and me, the truth teller, we have sense, we have logic, and we will bring the real story to the American people. No holds barred. So we're going to talk about what took place with Al Green. We're going to talk about what took place with Zelensky. We're even going to talk about how Mexico, as well as Canada, changed their minds in reference to the tariffs. We're going to talk a lot about those things because things are happening very, very quickly. And most importantly, we're going to talk about that one, America now has backbone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have taken the tail from between our legs, and we're speaking real power and real truth. And we're going to, as Frank Sinatra sung, we're going to do it our way. And that's what Donald Trump has done. And that's what many people, regardless of ethnicity, race, religion, or gender, it's a new day, and we're doing it our way.
Absolutely, and it's proud to be in America. It's proud to live in this golden age. I call the golden age of Trump. And also, Dr. White, don't forget, last week at the same time, the Senate voted not the Democrat. It was a 51-45. They need a 60 vote threshold to pass. It didn't pass, so they voted against actually men and women's sports. So they could not get the support of the 60 votes, and we're going to talk about that too.
Absolutely.
So I guess the Democrat has not learned. Either it is going to stay the party of no senses, or I call it a Newt Gingrich got the party of zombie.
Yeah. Well, what's happening is that the party right now has no message. All they have is emotional anger. You see, and they have
You
treated.
have emotional anger. You should not be in Washington.
That's right. You see, but what has happened is that Congress and the Senate for the Democrats, as I stated last week, have become nothing more than a pep rally. And they think that as long as they holler and scream and point the finger, that is going to make the American people happy. But they don't understand what makes the American people happy is pure policy. Policy that makes sense, policy that says America is first, policy that brings us on the road to prosperity and strength and vibrancy, a policy that says what? It's a good day to be an American, and you don't have to be ashamed of it. But you know, all they have is a finger pointing. You know, that is, hey, listen, if you don't like if you want immigrants to go home, illegal immigrants, they point the finger, oh, you're racist, you're xenophobic. If you say that, listen, a man is a man, as a woman is a woman, then you're anti-humanist. If you say that, oh, we don't want to get in wars any longer, we're tired of spending our money in other places and seeing our people die, they say that, oh, we are evil isolationists, but they have no policy to follow up. And right now, the political party with the Democrats, they're dying. They're dying right in front of us. And because they don't have nothing, I mean, the saddest thing about it, right, was when Donald Trump was talking the other day to the joint session. And he stated that we have given so much money to Ukraine, right? What did Pocahontas and the others do? They clapped as if it was a wonderful rites of passage.
Well, they need to grab the weapon and go fight in Ukraine.
Absolutely. That's what they need to do. But they don't want to do that because they make too much money staying home. You see the big issue about finding the graft that's taking place. You're not only finding the waste, but you're finding out where that money has gone to. And a lot of people there have deep pockets, and they're afraid. They're shaking in their boots because the money is going to go to them. They're hiding it. They're investing it for their family and friends, and they're finding out that that group is a group of corruption, and they have sold the American people down the drain.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. White, we're going to come back to you, and we got some local update we will give a little bit later. But Sister Warrior is right now.
Sister Warrior.
Sister Warrior, love to have her. I guess you guys are rotating now, so when you're not here, she's here with me. So
I'm on the other side, but you know what? We still wear black.
You know, so Sister Warrior, glad to have you live in the studio, my love.
Well, Voy, thank you for allowing me to be in the studio with you today. And we're missing you, Dr. Issa White, truth teller. Man, so much has happened, and you touched on so many things that I know we're going to get deep into. But what I want to say from my takeaway from the address to the nation the other day, how Donald Trump said it, the State of the Union is good. The state of America is good. We are back. And he is on the way to making us great again for sure. And we are seeing that every single day in the policies that's happening. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing, as we said. So I'm pumped because what I saw the other night was hope. What I saw was America taking control of this country. What I saw was love for this country. I also saw hate from the other side, but I saw love and hope in the people. And that leadership under Donald J. Trump is what's going to take us to the next level. And I'm pumped for it.
All right, Sister Royer. We're going to start some local update.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, it's going to be, Dr. White, it's going to be a great political comeback here right here in Orlando, District 5. That's going to take place. Former Commissioner Regina Hill is going to run for her seat again. So that's going to be,
Wow.
yeah, so that's the update. She filed it, and she was at the City Hall yesterday making that announcement. So it's official. Regina Hill is going to try to regain her seat back in the city of Orlando. One thing about Regina, she's a friend. She's very passionate about, serving. She understands the role of a public servant. That I will give her that. She understands the love of being served. I guess I'm trying to get her in the studio, but I don't know. She didn't get back with me today, but hopefully next week, I'll probably get her in the studio. I know she still has some court update coming up, and there was some break on her case. So I guess she feels comfortable to run for that seat. And I think she has the momentum right now. She's going to have the momentum. That's why she registered early. And one advice that I'm going to give anybody that's especially not on the Democratic side, but on the Republican side, if you going to run against any incumbent as an incumbent Democrat, file early and start running the campaign. Start exposing this Democrat. We got that Maxwell Fraud, who's the 10th congressional representative right here in Orlando, in Orange County. And I think it's time for him to go because that's not what we need in Washington. So anyone that's going to challenge him, and it's time to go ahead and we have very intelligent people in this area. So we don't need a coon like this. We don't need somebody like that in Congress to represent. So it's time somebody take him heads on.
Yes. So yeah, well, Maxwell Frost is Maxwell Fraud.
Yeah.
But I hear you. And as far as Regina is concerned, Commissioner Regina Hill, as you said, she's running again. I did see that. And I'm just kind of curious, where she's at with this case and, what's the probability? I know the elections is happening this year. I know she goes to court. I think in May is when all of this goes down in court. So I'm just curious as to where she's at and, is that going to be an issue? And if she does win her seat again, would the governor, can he remove her once again? Is my thoughts.
Well, my element with Regina Hill. I mean, you talk about Lazarus rising from the dead, right? I mean, we thought that she was completely knocked out, dead, and now she's coming back. That's a testimony to her resilience. But the issue that we have in her district is that, one, we have the poorest district in the city. We have a district that over 60% of the people do not have a high school diploma. Over 70% of the homes there are not owned by the residents who live in that district. There are virtually no industry there, just a couple, and it's not owned by people of African descent or Black people. We have a district that whereby if you want to run for office, you say that, oh, you're going to be tough on crime, and that's where you get your victims. We see that with both Demings. They crack down on crime there, getting people who are selling little nickel bags and things like that, and putting them in jail and throwing away the key. So it's not the point that Regina Hill was nice and she's loved and so forth. We're talking about deliverables. And we don't have that there. I mean, there's no reason that the only element that you can show for economic prosperity is when you have the Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M Rattlers game, and then you say, oh, we made jobs, but you have people parking cars in their front yard or parking cars on some other vacant lot. That's not jobs. That's not prosperity at all. And so therefore, we need someone there who have vision. Not just because they showed up at the right time, because the incumbent before her left that seat and died, but we need people who's really representing the interest. Then secondly, is she going to who is she going to congregate with? Is it going to be the radical left who would like to have Orlando to become a sanctuary city? Or is she going to align herself with people who are thinking and who are sensible, or who is just not going to point a finger and holler and scream, but a person who is going to produce something? Who is she going to congregate with? There are real questions here, you see? And I know she's going to run on this element, and that is, well, if Donald Trump can run and he's a convicted criminal, that's the thing they like to say, a convicted felon, not looking at the fact that the political system used agencies in a warlike manner to go after him. But that's what she's going to argue. And the two cases are completely different.
Well, let me ask you, Dr. White and Amania. Like I said, she will be on the show, and we'll have an opportunity for her to ask her a question. I thought she was going to take some question yesterday. I thought she was going to have a conference yesterday. But do you think she was politically persecuted right here in Orange at the city? Do you think some of her haters was out there calling in the governor's office to have him sign? Do you think she was treated fairly unfair? And now her district, which is 5, the voters, they're gonna give her the opportunity to gain her seat back. I mean, you have to look at it in that aspect. And also, there's a lot of project that's going in District 5, things that she left undone that she gotta get done. Like I said, this is gonna be the greatest political comeback right here in District 5.
I think you're right that a number of people who went against her, who look like her because they don't like her, not in reference to policy. They don't like her. That's it. And sometimes we have to get personality out of it. So they went after her. And I know some of these people who went after her, who wrote to governor and so forth. But at the same time, she put herself in positions and compromising positions that made it easy for people to go after her, fairly or unfairly. That's the fact of it. Things that she may have left unfinished. Well, I mean, that's a story to be told in itself. In reference to the case, I'm not privy to the inner workings of the case. If it's true that she exploited a senior citizen, then of course she needs to pay the price. If it's true that people went after her and made up stuff, well, they need to pay the price for doing that because that is wrong. I am a victim of fake news in this town for a long, long time. In fact, about it, I would say that I was Trump before Trump. to be honest with you. In fact, that's why all of you need to read that book of mine called Blacklisted, Paying the Price for Speaking Truth. But nonetheless, one of the things that Cornell told me, and that goes to all of us, if you speak truth to power, you're going to pay the price because people are going to come after you. Now, I don't know about in reference to Regina Hill. Time would tell. But and it's going to be interesting how her and what's the lady's name? Sean Rose. Yes, Sean Rose. It's going to be interesting how they throw down in their own battle royal to see who stands at the end. That's going to be one hell of a fight.
That's going to be a hell of a race. But we also have a race in District 15. That's Geraldine Thompson race. The latest, and I did not have an opportunity to. I heard yesterday somebody give me a call. Yes, Senator Bracey announced he's going to run for that seat, but I heard also, I have not confirmed that his sister is going to run for that seat.
Well, there's a fight for you.
All in the family, right?
All in the family.
All in the family
for Auntie Geraldine's seat.
So that's gonna be.
Wasn't she their godmama or something?
Yeah.
What is that show? That black show on Netflix, where the family is fighting, the black family fighting each other. They're in a radio production.
I don't know. I don't watch.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's a shame. We're going to have that type of thing. It's really a test. It's not a testimony, but it's really an illustration of how some families now believe that it is almost their right to hold a place in the public domain in the political atmosphere. You see, and it really becomes an element of exploitative dominance. I mean, why does Bracey want? Why does need it? Why do they want to run? You see, I mean, when you look at either Bracey's, it's really hard to put your finger on what they have really established in the African American community and the Black community. No more than giving maybe 2 or 3 nonprofits a couple of nickels and dimes. But when we talk about political leadership, we should talk about what institutional development they have brought and have given the Black community. What industries have they brought in? What programs they have really initiated and spoken about in Tallahassee that helps the Black community. And for the most part, both of them, they spend more time taking pictures. The other one was in Chicago the other day taking pictures in the snow. The other one takes pictures in front of their car. And they have turned the political system into a showbiz entity where they're not doing anything but showing smiling pictures and saying, look at me. And we don't need that. We also have another person who's thinking about running, all right? And that is a man by the name of Khalid Munir. there's speculation that he's going to throw his hat into the ring. He is immigrant to this country, legal, by the way.
Oh, you better clear it up.
You know, so we see him throwing his hat into the ring, along with the two Bracy's and Lord knows who else. It's going to be a free for all.
Okay. That's what we have politically. So it's going to be a very interesting race around here in Central Florida. And I look forward, and that's going to, and hopefully we'll have every candidate come to this show. The mic is open for you guys. So let the voter hear you. And we're going to have some fun.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to add that, so if this fight does come down between the two Bracy's, I'm just kind of thinking about District 40. That would really leave that door wide open for BB Ford to pick it up right where she's at, being that she put in some good work during this last cycle. And I mean, again, for LaVon Bracy to leave that seat to move on to higher and better, I suppose. Yeah, that would be great for BB Ford.
Well, I like BB.
BB, if you're hearing us right now in the studio,
I like her. She's smart.
Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
If she gets in, I hope she throws some haymakers. I want her to throw some punches. I want her to be like the female Ali.
Yeah. I think she would have a good shot. I think she would have a good shot, being that I don't think there's anybody else going to come out of the woodworks to take her on. I think she would have a good shot to do this. So, BB, if you're hearing this, if LaVon Bracy decides to jump ship to take Auntie Geraldine's seat, that can leave the door open for BB Ford. So there you have it.
Absolutely. The phone number 47894-1680, 47894-1680. You could go ahead and give us a call. Tell us what you think about Tuesday night. I think Trump sabotaged the Democrat Party. I think the Democrat Party is dead right now. And I'm going to take a word from former House Speaker Newt Gingrich saying the Democrat right now walking like a bunch of zombies without a leadership, without leaders. So is that the case? So if you're out there, you're a Trump hater, you still suffer TDS. That's Trump derangement syndrome. If you're still suffering that, and what was your take on Tuesday from Joint Section of Congress? How did you receive the speech? Absolutely, the country respond. Trump averaged an average poll at 70%. I mean, it was common sense, bringing back in America. So, Dr. White, taken to last Friday with the meeting at the Oval Hall office with President Zelensky, and that was a disastrous meeting. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we see true interaction at the Oval Hall office. Everybody was watching between J.D. Vance and Zelensky, and Trump jump in, and that was true leadership. And there was report that Trump actually kicked Zelensky out of the White House, but actually he was on a waiting room after the take place. But what is your take? What was your take on that, Amania and Dr. White? Amania, go ahead. You go first.
Well, for me, it was a beautiful thing to watch. I'll say this. How dare you come into our house begging for money and then want to be cocky? Then you want to have an attitude. Then you want to be aggressive in it. And you want to tell us when you're here with hands between your legs coming to beg? No way. There's no way. And so I was glad to see our great J.D. Vance, our VP, take Zelensky on and says, no, you don't come into our house and disrespect our president. You don't do that, especially when you're here begging us. And we're here to help you. And the other thing I would say about that is that at the end of the day, the bottom line for we the people, what Donald Trump wants, what his administration wants, they want to stop the war. They want to stop the bloodshed. They want to stop these young people from dying. People are dying. And Zelensky,
$375 billion already spending. I don't
In
know
fact,
how the
it's more
Democrats
than
want to
that.
keep going. Go ahead, Amania.
people are dying, and Donald Trump wants to end this. But Zelensky doesn't seem to be ready to say, you know what, I want to negotiate. How do you come to the table talking about you want to negotiate, and then you're being this aggressive towards the other party? Why would they come to the negotiations with you? Nobody's going to do that. And so Zelensky is weak in his leadership, and that was shown to the world. We the people saw it in full display, the kind of leader he is. And again, we don't want it. If you want to continue the war, you want to continue to fight, you do it on your own dime. We're not giving you any more money. And that is Donald Trump's stance on it.
Well, Zelensky is a product of the warmongers. I mean, he tried to throw a blindsided punch when he was speaking to the president and the vice president in the Oval Office. Prior to the meeting, they had all agreed what was going to be done, what was going to be signed. And President Trump was gracious. He was nice. Even when the reporter said, dude, you need to wear a suit, he said, you look fine. It's okay. You see, but what happened is that Zelensky was influenced by the warmongers and by some Democrats who said that, listen, you got to be tough with Trump. So he's going to try to walk in there and blindside the man. And when he did that, he got smacked. He got smacked. You see? And that's because that he has been spoiled. And I like what Trump has done. We're not giving you a damn thing now. We don't want any war. Then he tried to insinuate that if we don't help him, Russia is going to come after us. That was a sly insinuation, saying something about the oceans. That guy is a chump. He's a punk. And he's a made-up, cocaine-smoking dude who was nothing more than a second-rated comedian.
Mm-hmm.
We made him. People forgot that we got. You know how he got in power? It was United States interference that overthrew the Ukrainian government in 2014 that brought this joker into power. We overthrew the legitimate government because that legitimate government said, you know what? We don't have no problems with Russia. And we have a number of people who want problems with Russia because, one, that's how they make money. Through the military-industrial complex and getting people all hyped up as if the Russian bear is going to take over all of Europe and the United States. That is the biggest bunch of crap. And remember, don't let them off the hook. It's the same people who kept on that time small talk of Russiagate, Russia against Trump. So therefore, I'm glad he got slapped. I'm glad that we're not going to get into this conflict. And we're set to the open stage to all countries, put all countries on notice. If you're going to come rough with us, we're going to meet you halfway. All right? And we're going to be the winner. You see? And that's why over 72% of the American people favor what Trump has done. Even if you don't like all of his policies. We haven't had nobody to stand up like that since, I think, Ronald Reagan. You see? And we like tough people, so we're not giving them anything. Zelensky is a made leader. And guess what? When he's not going to be in government too long, mark my words. His own people are going to get him out because, I mean, what he's doing, He has no more soldiers. He's picking up kids 15 years old and old men who are 70 to force them to join the military. All the weapons that we have given him, the tanks have been blown up, and the F-15s, they're no good any longer. They've been destroyed. And the handguns, we're finding them in the hands of cartel members in Mexico and in South America, and in the hands of terrorists in Africa, as well as in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And while this is going on, his bank account has swelled, to over $400 million.
So if he has so much money, why is he here begging us for more money? Why can't he fund his own war?
Because we're dope.
You gotta ask.
We have become stupid.
Democrat putting energy, still trying to fund this war. And there's a report came out, is that the kickback they're getting from Zelensky, and this is Democrat and Republican. Joe Biden got a $92 million kickback. Mitch McConnell got $89 million. Nancy Pelosi got $86 million. Chuck Schumer got $66 million. Lindsey Graham, $82 million. Mitt Romney, $71 million. John Cornyn out of Texas, $41 million. Adam Schiff, $62 million. Dan Crenshaw out of Texas, $20 million. Elizabeth Cheney, $77 million. Kevin McCarthy, $42 million. Is this the corruption to the core?
You're talking about payola.
Democrat and Republican.
Yeah.
Because remember, Doge and Zelensky himself is saying that out of that $375 billion, well, he only received, I think, $100 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So where's the rest of it?
That's right. That's right. And also don't forget, when Biden was the vice president, they had a political official in Ukraine who began to ask some questions of Biden. And what did Biden do? He told Zelensky and his boys over there, you better get rid of him.
Yep.
He said that perhaps like at 12 o'clock in the day, by 4 o'clock, they got rid of the dude because he was asking too many questions. It's nothing more. Biden should be in jail. Because he has sold his office for monetary gain, and all of them have done that.
Yeah,
but
and
the American people, what is that?
What I was thinking when you were speaking just now is that if Biden was still in, we know that they would continuously give him money until this war into foreverness. But what I was thinking is that, now that they're running out of bodies, they're putting in children and they're putting in old men. So just can't help but think that, Biden would probably send our own boys and girls over there to die for this cause so that they can continue to feed this war and funnel money back towards their own pockets. Again, this is what they want. This is what it is. And I'm so happy that President Trump is saying, hell to the no. We're not going to do this. We're not going to send bodies. We're not sending money. We want this finished, and you need to end it. And, Zelensky is upset that, President Trump, they're talking to Putin. They're leaving him off the table. This is a big boy conversation. You need to go sit down somewhere because you don't want to negotiate. You don't want to bring this to an end. And we need to know what Putin wants so we can end this war. Yeah. And that's what we need to do.
I mean, the President Trump is saying to the American people and to the world, we're not your policemen. All right? If you get into conflicts, that's your business. Now, the Democrats are interpreting this to the American people, saying that we want to give up our standing in the world. And that is not the truth. The truth of the matter is that President Trump is saying that, listen, we can still be strong, we can still be the leader, but we have to begin to negotiate. We have to begin to talk to our adversaries. We have to begin to talk to our competition, because we cannot win every conflict with war, with death. There are other ways to deal with things. And the Democrats have completely forgot about the fact that Nixon, during the height of the Cold War, Nixon opened up a dialogue we call the ping pong conversations with China. He realized that China was a growing power. At the same time, we had a détente with Russia, with the Soviet Union. Yes, we had political and ideological differences, but it was a preconceived idea and concept that we're not going to go at each other face to face. It was a détente. We have differences, but we can live in peace. But now these people in Washington, the Democrats and all of them, they never took civics. Apparently, they never took any courses dealing with geopolitics. Apparently, they don't know what the world is like outside their little box in Washington, D.C., because all in their mind is that war. I hear that dumb woman, what's her name, Jasmine Crockett?
Jasmine Hackett.
All right.
She's
she's a hack, right?
Hackett.
I mean, so what she's talking about? She's talking about Russia. I don't even think she know the capital of Russia. I don't think she can name 5 cities in Russia. All right? I don't think she understands the relationship that African Americans have with Russia. What's so interesting? The Democrats are racist because they put up black leaders, so-called black leaders, to go and yell for them, and when they look like a fool, what do the white Democrats do? Sit down and say nothing.
Absolutely. Well, we got the first hour of the show. When we come back, we're gonna talk about men and women's sport, where 80% of this country is agreeing with this issue. The Senate voted last week against it. I don't understand this at all. So the phone line is going to be open, 407-894-1680. The phone line is going to be open, 407-894-1680. Go ahead and call us. What do you think? I mean, I see, and then we're also going to talk about on Tuesday, where this young lady was there, suffer a concussion while a transgender got hit really hard I don't understand where we're going with this. It's just, I really don't. Since we got to pay the bill, go ahead, take it on, Jeff, when we come back.
Caribbean One Stop, located at 2117 West Colonial Drive in the Magic Mall Plaza between John Young and Tampa Avenue. Caribbean One Stop, home of delicious Caribbean foods. Yes, tasty, delicious soups. Not feeling like soup? Try their brown stew chicken, curry goat, oxtail, jerk chicken. How about brown stew red snapper, escovitch red snapper? Oh, a roti lover, are you? Yes, chicken roti, goat roti, veggie roti. Oh, yes, confused? How about a combination? And you vegetarians, there's always a lean, mean veggie plate just for you. While there, check out their over-the-counter pharmaceuticals wide selection. Hard to find West Indian groceries, pastries, West Indian ice cream. And yes, don't forget the music department. All CDs played in Caribbean Affair Connection Gospel Show available for you at Caribbean One Stop. Open 7 days a week, catering for all occasions. Call them now. Caribbean One Stop, 407-423-7552. 407-423-7552. Caribbean One Stop.
Ever thought about doing a podcast but didn't know how to start? You didn't have the equipment or the capability? Well, the wait is over. Start your very own podcast today. Unity Podcast Room is now available for you. The state-of-the-art podcast room is located at 50 South Clark Road, right here in Ocoee, Florida. Get your video out there so people can see and hear you speak your truth. For only $100 an hour, you can start your podcast with Unity Podcast Room. Now, are you ready to take your social media to the next level? Stop being scared and start your podcast today. Unity Podcast Room.
Get the injury special at McDonald's now. Let's break it down. My favorite barbecue sauce, American cheese, crispy bacon, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun, of course. And don't forget the fries and a drink. Sound good? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating restaurants for a limited time.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
So, Breeze, as a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
You're listening to Inspiration 1680 AM, WOKB Winter Garden, W2640F 100.7 FM Kissimmee, and around the world at WOKBradio.com. Inspiration 1680 AM and 100.7 FM Kissimmee.
The views and opinions of the following program is not necessarily those of WOKB, staff, and management of Unity Broadcasting.
All right. Welcome back to Political Flashback. I'm Amania. We have Dr. Issa White here with us as well. And so today we're talking hot topics of what we've seen during the week and some local politics as well. But what I'd like for us to look at once again right now is what happened during this week. A lot happened. And I wanted to just say to us once again, when we look at what happened in November, the American people gave President Trump a mandate, is what we had. And the people said, this is what we want. Trump told them during the campaign trail exactly what he was looking to do. And the American people said, yes, I'm on board. I want that. And so President Trump gave the address to the nation on the other day and showing us exactly that he is doing exactly what we voted for. Everything that he laid out, we said yes to. And what I really picked up and noticed during that night was that we, the American people, voted for these things. But when we look at the other side, now, if you watched it, you saw the disgraceful behavior of the Democrat Party. And you saw a couple of different things that would make any person proud, anybody to be proud to be an American. When we saw what President Trump did for a little boy, his name is DJ, who has brain cancer. And he dreamt of being a police officer, but unfortunately that wouldn't happen. But President Trump actually made it an official Secret Service officer the other night. And the little boy was sworn in right there. Do you know that Democrats did not even clap for such a wonderful thing? A little black boy, a little black boy. They couldn't even enjoy that. They couldn't even applaud that. That is, for me, disgraceful. And another moment that happened there was Laken Riley. the young lady who was murdered on her campus, the young nursing student who was murdered in Georgia. Her family was there. Her mother and her daughter, her mother and her sister were there. And again, nobody on the other side clapped. Because why? Because they don't care. And then we had another person, a little girl, 12 years old, who was also murdered. President Trump named the park after her. You know, just to honor these people. But the other side just can't even handle that. They can't even clap for that. And again, it shows us, we the American people, who these people are. They don't care for America. They don't care for we the American people. They only care about their own wants and needs, and which is to keep the status quo going, for them to continue to grow their money, for them to continue to grow their finances. That is what they care about. Not you, not me, not we, the American people. Dr. Issa White, what did you think about these things? Some of these really, really great moments that we saw during the address to the nation.
First of all, again, the stories that you just gave weren't political stories. They were humanist stories. And that the Democrats and our colleagues on the other side, they have lost all concept of humanity. When you have a person, a young man, who has brain cancer, whom they thought was going to die some time ago, and you fulfill his dreams, and of giving him the opportunity to say that I'm part of this great institution of law enforcement, the joy that boy had, you had to have joy in your heart. You had to. It brought tears to me. You see? But the other side, not to even clap, not to even acknowledge this, because you hate Trump so much, that tells me you have voided yourself of humanity. You have voided yourself of God. You have voided yourself of decency. Then the other case where the lady whose face was broken because a transgender man, just call it for what it is. He is a man playing like a woman. All right, spiked the ball so hard, it almost killed her. And you don't have no daughter. You're telling me none of you all have daughters and sisters and wives and mothers? And you think that this is okay? Something's wrong with those people. All right? And it tells you two things. It tells you that, one, we were a country in decline, and those people were found out, and now we have someone to bring us back. Or does it mean that we're going to be perfect? No, it doesn't mean that. But at least we're going to get some humanity back. We're going to get some civility back with this. So, I mean, and then you ask the basic question. Why do you hate this man so much? That makes you hate that makes you hate American people. And they can't really tell you.
No.
All right, they really can't tell you. And especially, and I'm going to go back to the Black people now. I'm going to go back to them because, I mean, you're being used. How the Democrats are using the Black community, Black leaders.
Yeah.
That's a pure sign of racism. In fact, Democrats, this is a new term for you. It's called paternalistic racism. And that is they acting like your fathers, your leaders, and telling you who to hate and who to love. They're telling you what to do, and you're following them. In fact, about it, you have become the political Stephen and the party called the Democratic Django. That's what you have become.
Yeah.
And so bad. It's so sad to see this. One last thing I want to bring it back to local politics for a second.
Okay.
This week we saw the funeral of Geraldine Thompson, and may God bless her.
Yep.
And may God have blessings upon her family. But the sad thing about it, as I was in the audience of the church celebrating her going away activity, they kept on saying what she has done. Did she say some good things? Absolutely. And did she have a love for the community? I think she did.
Mm-hmm.
But the element, what things did she leave behind that says that she has done? Of course, the wells built, that's a personal thing. I'm talking about political. And we have to talk about this because we have to focus on the fact of where we're going as a people.
Mm-hmm.
What did she leave? All right, that highlights the growth of our community. And unless somebody can call in and say, "Listen, Dr. White, truth teller, this is what she left," I would listen, but I can't see anything. You know, it's like that person who has died, who's a bad boy, and he has been causing hell his entire 20 years. Then when he dies, you say he's a good boy. You know
Oh,
those kinds
George
of
Floyd
people.
comes to mind when you bring that up.
Yeah, yeah. And we have to stop that madness.
Mm-hmm.
All
Well,
right.
you're right. I would have to say, in respect to Miss Thompson as well, and blessings to her family as they go through this time. And I was there also, Dr. White, and as they celebrated her going home celebrations, and she was definitely loved. The room was packed. There was a lot of people. We had legislatures there, local politicians, Buddy Dyer and Askamani. Even Benjamin Crump showed up to the funeral. But during, just sitting there and seeing them go over her life and everything, she was definitely loved. She did do a lot in the community. But like you, I'm still trying to find a great piece of legislation or something that she actually did that really changed the community, that really did something to the community. I can't put my teeth on anything. Yes, she did. She did a lot. And for example, last year's session, I was in Tallahassee and I happened to be in front of the Democrat office there, and they had a booklet, and I picked it up. I pick up everything, and I picked it up and I went through it. And one of her main thing, everything that they had last session was to advance the LGBTQ agenda, and that's what their whole booklet was about. So when we look at that, we can see it in black and white. This is what these people represented. This is whose agenda they were pushing. But again, when we look at it, what major legislation can we say that she did that really advanced the Black community, that really did some great work here? I can't tell you. And again, if you all know of something that she's done, please call us in and talk to us about it, because we would love to know some of the great works that she did. And we're not talking about her love of Black history. We're talking about real things that she's actually done in the community, during her so many years in the work.
Well, I tell you what, I could pick up a lot of politicians. Auntie Maxine, she's been in Congress for 30 years. Can anybody pull her record, her congressional record, and see what major legislative she accomplished if she's gone today? That Black people in America, the American people? Can anybody? Her, Maxine Waters. And look at Al Green. That was hollering and screaming. He's been in Congress over 20-some years.
Yes. Yeah. They haven't done nothing because they ran on a ticket of a Black face in a high place. And that was it. We have to start calling these people out. We have to hold them responsible for the seat and the position that they have. and that is something I forgot to mention. Talking about local things, Sister Warrior and we went into the teeth of the beast.
We were in the lion's den.
Why don't you talk about that a little bit, Sister Warrior, and how you handled it?
Well, I'm always eager to go into the other side, to the other rooms, because I'm curious about the way they think, because I think differently. I see things differently. And so this was a great opportunity to be with the community and to just talk about some of the things. And I actually want us to do a show about this. I mean, it's in the brewing now, but part of the conversation was Project 2025. And, you know, for me, I don't see anything wrong with Project 2025. All of it is common sense to me.
If skipping men out of women wrestling was part of Project 25, yeah, I'm forward.
Yeah. And so we had somebody there, and that was really the conversation. And they were talking a lot about, you know, it's really the white man.
Larry Cullington.
It's the white man keeping black people down. And there was an interesting point that they brought up, and they sort of compared the Jews to the blacks. What happened to the Jews and what happened to the blacks? And so, and again, they're saying, oh, it's the white supremacist that's keeping us down. It's the white man that's keeping us down, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of rhetoric.
And I just had to raise my little hand to ask a question to the woman. And I says to her, you know, well, I'll paraphrase in this moment, but her thing was that the Jews are thriving. They're doing great. They're doing this and they're doing that. And I says, well, you know what? I think blacks could be thriving too. The thing is, we walk into the room, we present color first. That's what we're always putting forth. Everything is about our color. We walk into the room, oh, they don't like me because I'm black. No, we have to have value in who we are. And being black is a beautiful thing. We just have to learn that being a slave we're not slaves anymore. We're gone past that, and we can't continue to make slavery be the thing that hinder us at every door. Like, come on, it's time for us to move forward. And so one of the questions I raised was that, well, you know, the Jews, they're not like that. Yes, they're successful, and we can be successful too, but we constantly put ourselves in a box stating that, oh, the white man is keeping us down, and it's not actually true. And so it was really great experience being in there and
the internet went out.
Thoughts, you know, giving different thoughts than that they expected, and they didn't expect that out of me.
Yeah, and you know what was so interesting is that they didn't expect an alternative perspective, another narrative. And when the audience heard another narrative, they changed right in front of all of us from being this extreme perspective of anti to one that's saying, you know, this makes sense. All right, at every level. And that's what they're afraid of. They don't want to give the people a choice in ideology. You see, and to really debate the issues. In fact, one lady was mad at me, remember? She was hot as a firecracker.
Oh, God, she was.
I mean, she couldn't see it in her. I mean, I thought there was some fire under her backside.
Yeah.
You know, she was just twitching and moving and mumbling under her breath, you know, and until I said, the problem that you have, sister, is that you're not used to someone saying these things. And she said, well, yes, I am. Yes, I am. I said, no, you aren't. No, you're not. If you were, you'll act better. You have more manners. You see? But they're so used to just saying things without anyone questioning them. And you know, I like Star Trek a lot. I like the Voyager. And they have this group of people, it's this civilization called the Borg. And they have drones. And the drones do what everybody else wants them to do. They're part of the collective. Well, the Democrats have been used to black people being drones.
Absolutely correct.
But
and
those days are over.
Absolutely correct. And I got this pastor for you out of North Carolina. Well, just saying that, Pastor Rooney out of North Carolina. Engineer, let me have this audio clip right now.
In a place where the only way you can be black and stand with your people is to be a Democrat. Now, if that's where we are, we're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. And we're the only people in America who operate that way. You can be white and be a Republican or a Democrat, Hispanic and be a Republican or a Democrat. Praise the Lord. Whatever, and be a Republican or a Democrat. But if you're black, if you're black, the only way you can be an authentic black person is to be a Democrat. That's stupid. And you know what it means? It means that explains why we spend half the time, or maybe even more, out of power. I've said for years, we need to operate politically, and I want to make this clear, in a way where both parties will compete for our vote.
Absolutely.
When one party knows that they're going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party.
And that's what's been happening for the last 50 years, that black people's voting Democrat. And that's why we're in the shambles that we're in. And also, Dr. White, this, I think, was today or yesterday, they had the mayors testified in Congress. And how much you had your mayor out of Chicago, New York, and Boston, how much money that they're spending on an immigrant and program, and how the citizen of the city is not program that was being cut for the citizen to go to and they still want to keep going with this, and especially a mayor out of Chicago. Oh my goodness,
he was a disgrace.
Yeah,
I mean, he couldn't answer one question.
Yeah, couldn't give us the budget.
He didn't know nothing about the budget. He knows the budget. He knows that he's been giving away money. He knows that he is not helping the people on the west side of town and nor the south side of town. He knows that all discretionary money is going to illegal aliens, while the black south side and the black west side and the black and the Puerto Rican communities are dying. They're being strangled with high unemployment, inflation, and no place to live, housing issues. He's a disgrace. All right. I don't even know how he walks in the city of Chicago. He should not be there. You see, and some of the other mayors weren't that great either. But I mean, it shows you that the American people have been duped and damned, and our interests are not being met.
Wait, but you know something? Earlier you say something in Amania, and what keep these people is distraction. When people start talking, or you go to this conference, the town hall, it's the white man that's keeping us down. It's the white man that's doing this. The white man that's doing this. If you're voting, if you're not if you're voting Republican, you and Uncle Tom, you this, you getting everything. Those are the kind of distractions, and people waking up, Dr. White, saying this is nonsense. This is how you guys in Congress are getting rich. Okay, that's why they're so angry at Trump, the golden era of Trump. You look at Maxine Waters, her daughters right now, USAID, they find she was funded $1 million to her daughter.
Wow.
This is why, remember what Elon Musk said, those that scream the louder, they are the most corrupt. Okay? So you're looking at all this, she's been in Congress, and her family's getting rich, and they're on your side, they're on your side. Jasmine Crockett, worth $9 million. She said it herself on the Breakfast Club. If she got this payout from this lawsuit, she's leaving Congress. So that tells you she don't have a devotion to serve.
But Crockett lied. I did some background checking. She gave the impression that she came into Congress with money. She's a well-educated lady, but she didn't have it like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, not to 5, 6, 7, 8 million like that. All right, she made that money off the backs of the American people. And that must be told, and it must be sung loud and consistently, because that's all what they have.
Yeah.
Because, again, they are fleecing the American people, you see? And at the same time, they're telling the underclass community to be patient. Things are changing. We got your back. And it's just because disingenuous.
It's just a lie and a deception.
It is a lie.
And you got
And
people
it's terrible.
falling for it. Now, let's go back to Tuesday. We're going to play some clip from President Trump on Tuesday, which is, it was amazing. Doom the Democrat.
And I realize there is absolutely nothing. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. Achievements, they won't do it.
Now, should these people stay in Congress if it's going to be about their personal emotion now? And that's what it comes down into, Dr. White?
No, they should not stay in Congress. All right. I hope that they find something on all of them. Because, again,
what Nicole Wallace said.
But I hope he never has to.
Because when the American people elect the individual to go to Washington or go to their state capital or go to their local city council or county council, you're expecting honesty. You're expecting the work that they're going to have the interest of the people at heart. But it has become obvious that when they go to these places, the people's interests are so far removed from them that it's saddening. And it makes you really question, how is America surviving? I mean, it must be by the grace of God, because we're not surviving because of anything that they're doing that's good. It's only by God or by luck, which one you want to go. But we have to. I hope he's able to find enough to expose these people, to put them in jail, to embarrass them. I hope that they're sanctioned, like Al Green is going to be sanctioned. You see, and you know what's also that shows you the ugliness and the negation of these people. Have you listened to their language? I mean, everything out of their mouth now is MF. I mean, the filth that they speak. It's like they don't have no decorum.
There is no decorum. And
this?
and I'd have to bring it up. Ghetto Hatchet Crackett, who everything out of her mouth is F this or F that. And again, the decorum of these people, they don't have any. What happened to these people?
No civility.
They have no, they're not
no
civilized.
No training.
They are ghetto and just useless. And this is what they're bringing to the floor.
That's the new modern of the Democratic Party.
No decorum.
And we have Maxwell Frost. He got kicked out of the committee last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same
now,
thing.
I mean, I think Orlando could do better.
Yeah,
I think Orlando District 10 could do better than this punk.
We can do better than Maxwell Fraud.
Okay. I think Orlando could do better.
I mean,
I don't care if it's another Democrat, a good Republican, but a Democrat with some common sense.
The other day,
right now in Washington, we're not benefiting from anything. And our people in Orange County and District 10 are standing up. Unless we got a bunch of zombies who go out there and vote.
That's my whole thing.
The ones that are voting for him.
And now we got a super Democrat supervisory election. I don't know if I could trust the vote.
Well, that's a whole nother story.
Because I know how they cheat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they cheat.
Dropping boxes.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Late
hoping
night.
that we figure this whole thing out this term with President Trump.
Thank goodness DeSantis is still in power.
Mm-hmm.
To oversee, because I don't trust any Democrat and at the supervisory election.
Well, yeah, neither do I. And that's why I'm saying and hoping that this time around that President Trump, we can make Election Day a holiday, right? And we could figure out how not to have month-long votings, and we can get it done like the rest of the world in a day. It can be done. It has been done. We've used to do it. And so that's going to cut out a lot of the cheating that we are seeing. So I'm all in for a one-day voting, making it a holiday.
One-day voting, get rid of the absentee ballot. Get rid of the absentee ballot. That's how they cheat. Yeah. They got their ballot brokers out there. It's the absentee ballot. Mm-hmm. Let's have some fair election.
Yeah. Another thing that's very interesting, going back to the congressional discussion that Donald Trump gave to the joint Congress, none of them said nothing about the great appointment that he delivered in reference to Alice Marie Johnson, mm-hmm. A Black woman that was in jail for 22 years.
Right.
And he pardoned her and made her the pardon czar. I think that's tremendous. Mm-hmm. They always talk about he doesn't like women or strong women.
Or black.
Or black. Or that he wanted to destroy Black History Month, even though he had a serious Black History Party in Washington. And for that matter, again, he's having an iftar. No, he had an iftar. An iftar is a celebration of the Islamic community. He had an iftar a couple of days ago in Mar-a-Lago. Serious iftar. That's the time that the Muslims break their fast. Okay. But this element with the pardon czar, you would think that our friends on the other side would be happy. Mm-mm. That you have somebody who can say, you know what, we're going to pardon your uncle, your daddy, your brother, who has been wrongly convicted, but they can't.
No, because if they do that, they're going to lose their radical ring of the party. That's why you see everybody in that. I was surprised to see at least 10 Democrats voted to censor Al Green. I was really surprised that they have any support of other Democrats join in some of the Republican, because this guy, he was the impeachment. He's the first one on the first term of President Trump will file the
article
of impeachment.
And for what exactly, I couldn't tell you. What is it that Trump has done that deem him yet prepared for another impeachment? I don't know. What is it? What has he done other than do exactly what he told the American people that he was going to do? He's going to make America better. He's going to get rid of all of this stuff, putting Doge into place, putting America first. This is what we voted for.
No, you have to understand. You have to understand the anger of the Democrat, and that's why anybody that's run against these people in 2026, you got to know what you're up to. You got to know what you're facing with. Mm-hmm. There's people that didn't get their Indian Kamala Harris. Okay. All right.
I'm glad you said that. Red dot. I gotta say it. She red dot. She ain't black.
All right. Donald Trump got reelected, and he got the smartest man, the richest man out there, discover all that dirt all that fraud in Washington, D.C., Elon Musk. So, yes, they're angry.
Yeah.
They've been caught on the cookie jar. Yes, they're mad.
And you know what else, Voy?
And let me play this. Let me play this clip of Trump clip because I got to get it under this one.
Get it in.
Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most.
I played that one already, so I got to get to the other one where he said, "All we need is a president."
All they needed was a new president.
The
That's
media
the line.
and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That was it. And that's all he needed to secure the border. Leadership.
Yeah. Well, and you also needed a president who cares about the people. That's going to make a big difference. Joe Biden was so-called a new president, and his first day in office, his executive orders was to really make America bad again, by removing the Keystone Pipeline and not letting us. And another thing President Trump talked about was drill, baby, drill, right? That's what's going to bring economics in here again. That's what's going to bring the price of eggs down, friends. And he's working on it. And I know one of the things that the public keeps saying, oh, well, he said day one he's going to do it. Now, if you really believe day one that eggs is going to go from $6, which is what I paid for a carton the other day, from $6 to back to, $2 day one, it's not happening. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some maneuvering, and they are working on that. Part of what the work that Doge is doing is part of that. We're going to see it. It's going to take a little bit of time. So, but you all hold on. It's going to happen. We've been under a Trump administration before. We know what our 401ks looked like before. We know what gas prices was like before. So just take a little time. He's going to tell you, drill, baby, drill.
Let's go to solutions. Let's go back to the whole element with the eggs that people are talking about. Yes, on day one, he did do something. And he dispatched a team of scientists and high-level veterinarians to study why this is happening so frequently with our produce, bird flu, and what can be done about it. Before you find a solution, before you can end the crisis, you have to find why. He asked the question, he put people on that team. All right. The Biden or the Obama or no one before him had the gall to really study this issue. So he did do something on day one, dealing with the bird flu and why the eggs are so high. Not just, and this is affecting ducks, it's affecting geese, it's affecting a lot of things. And some of these airborne viruses that are in the animal kingdom can find its way to us. That's what he's working on. All right, so we got to be real careful, and we have to know what's really taking place, because the American people have been fed rhetoric and just fake narratives that are so lightweight. But again, they don't have something. They don't have the judge. They don't have a sister warrior, and they don't have the truth teller. But
I become a big fan of Stephen A. Smith on The View. Listen to what you're just saying, the rhetoric these people spur, and Stephen A. Smith straight him up.
6 weeks. Seems like 6 years, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been going around with his cronies touting his so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever. And he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of the counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the electoral college vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the electoral college vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it all, 89% of the counties shifted against. I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad. We should continue to do that.
So
don't continue to do it. Find a new strategy.
But do you think those groups, the black voters, the Latino voters, and the others that you mentioned, are they going to regret it soon?
No.
Possibly. I think so. I don't like what I'm seeing from Trump. I didn't like what I saw with Zelensky. I didn't like what I saw with a few things. But in the end, I didn't like it. But
hold on a second.
But in the end, what it
Stephen A. be flip flopping, boy. That boy flip.
But this is the kind of rhetoric that you listen from the left, Dr. White, and they're gonna be deceiving propaganda. And at least Stephen A. Smith, give him some credit. He was being straightforward. Okay? Give him the reality of truth.
Yeah. If you listen to the lady, all she did was throw names.
Yeah, George
right? Just names, name calling. Because they don't have anything at all. And the sad thing about it, they haven't learned their lesson. They haven't learned that the American people want substance, they want policy, and they want solutions. They want to feel as if this society has not seen its best days go behind her, but they want to feel as if the best days are in front of her. And the Democratic machine, that's what it is a machine, a politically corrupt machine, are not doing that. All right? And right now, it seems as if they're incapable of that because no one there is analyzing. It's so bad. Even Stephen said a couple of weeks ago that his name came up on a list of possible people who should run for the presidency of the Democratic Party, the candidate. And he said, I shouldn't run. I don't know nothing about politics. I'm not qualified. But for my name to come up shows the state of affairs of that party that is so low that a person who speaks about sports 80% of the time it can be looked upon as being their candidate for the highest office in the land. That's something.
It really is something. Can you imagine Stephen A. as president? He jumped the range.
I think he might be a fair-minded person. He seemed very fair-minded person. I love him in ESPN. But in the political side, I think Stephen A. Smith is scared to jump ship.
Yeah,
I really do.
He's afraid of not being invited to the barbecue.
I think he's.
Well, remember, he's an independent. He's not a Democrat nor a Republican.
He's been voting Democrat.
Yeah, he voted Democrat.
He voted Democrat.
He told you he voted Kamala Harris.
He voted Kamala Harris. So even all the nonsense. So I think that's the fear among a lot of Democrats. But they're not offering any solution. They're not offering any alternative. Carolyn Levitt. I look at that little boy, that 13-year-old boy with cancer. And And it was a to me, it was not a story. It was very heart touching.
Yeah.
And for these people not stand up and applaud that little 13-year-old boy, and for me to listen to MSNBC, Rachel Maddow and the other colleague of hers, she said, well, I hope he lived to be 100 years old, become a cop, and then committed suicide. What a heartful, disgrace for somebody to say something like that.
Yeah.
How hateful that is. And for the Democrat to sit there not standing up to all the victims that Donald Trump bring in, that, and the whole nation is watching this.
The world.
The world is watching this. Their behavior. How do you support this cult of corruption?
You can't unless you're part
Dr.
of
White's
it.
a machine, so I got to put 2C, cult corruption.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, and it is disgraceful. And the point is that again, they don't see that the tide is changing.
Mm-hmm.
All right before them, and they are. But you know what? That's what makes them so dangerous. I mean, I am convinced that 97% of the people within that fold would have been happy if Donald Trump was assassinated. I'm convinced about it.
They'd be happy.
All right. I would be, I'm convinced. In fact, I can't remember the name of the pundit, the political pundit. He's an older guy now, and he was really heavy in the Carter administration. He stated that no matter how bad the country gets, Democrats don't do anything. Let it fall.
People.
Thinking that it would hurt Trump.
Democrats didn't stand to keep.
I can't remember his name.
Not yet.
What is that?
No, go ahead, Dr. White. Go ahead.
Yeah, so they have become the enemy to the state at every level. The question is that how the American people are going to respond to them. I mean, anytime you have a country where people are literally starving and trying to find jobs and trying to stay in.
He's freezing.
I guess his phone is freezing.
Yeah. Well, I would have to say that the Democrat Party, they have really, really lost their way. And I don't see any coming back from this. They have no leadership. Hakeem Jeffries is supposed to be the leader of the party. But he sat in the room and let what's the caveman name? Lee Green. What's his name? Al Green. Let Al Green make a fool of himself. He didn't rope
Sister
him
Roy,
in.
I disagree with you, because you do have a segment on this population and who just is stupid, who's not well informed. Keep voting Democrat. I'm sorry.
And
I don't believe they're down.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at especially some of the black representatives in Congress, what they represent, some of the district, I mean, people should be ashamed of it. But you're gonna find stupid people keep voting them in office. And two things, and I hope this administration take some serious issue with why Maxine Waters keep getting vote if these people are not cheating. Why some of these Democrats keep getting in office? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't.
I think we need to look at it. I absolutely think during this Trump administration, we need to handle the voter integrity business. We need to figure it all out before we get into another election. Like before, we didn't deal with what happened in 2020 with the election fraud and all of that. And we moved into the midterms in 22, more fraud. And 2024, there was fraud, but it was too big to rig. And so therefore we need to fix it. And that's my thing there. If we don't fix it, we're never going to really move forward.
Fix it. If we have a holiday to vote, get rid of the absentee ballot, because that's happened in every county, on all our 67 counties. This is one of the way that they really got a way to cheat. I'm telling you, I have seen it. Is the absentee ballot. We got to get rid of it and go to one-day voting. And if we don't correct that, if we fix that, I don't think Democrat will get in office.
No, no. It's the only way they win is because of the cheating, in my opinion. That's the only thing. And when we talk about it, let's talk about it hyper locally, because we've got elections this year locally. That's where a lot of the fraud happens, is in these local elections, these commissioner races, these local mayor races.
You look at California, how the last minute, until 30 days, the Democrat was gaining ground. We could have won more seats in Congress. And those states don't have no voter ID law.
Right. And then it started crawling. Yeah. California.
Yeah. Take care of California.
Yeah. We could have won a lot more. We really could have. But again, we got what we got. But again, it was too big to rig. Too many people wanted off this Democrat plantation. Too many people wanted off the Democrat policies. I mean, one thing I'll say is that these local politicians, they are literally the hammer to we, the constituent. They are the ones, they are detrimental to us. They're not for us. And everything that they put in place is bad for us. And we keep voting them. And it's the definition of insanity, friends. We keep voting these people in. They're not good for us. How about we do something different? Vote a different way and see what happens here locally. How about we not put Maxwell Frost back in? How about we not put Anna Eskamani in? How about we put other people
Oh my God.
Because look at this leadership. These people never run a business.
No.
Maxwell Frost, he was a community activist. This is what we put in office. You look at AOC, okay? Some of the dumb thing that they come in with, and this is the best we got to represent 350 million people in America. Okay.
We have to stop allowing these people to come around us and to smooth talk us and baby talk us. And we take on the mantle that, oh, they're really good for us. They like us. You know what Black people always say? Oh, he or she, they just like they Black. You know, they act like Black. Well, stop hiring and stop electing people because they act like Black. What does acting like Black mean?
I don't know.
All right, what does that mean? You see? And we fall for that stuff. The other day at the funeral, I was sitting next to Anna Eskamani and her sister. They back there just saying, hooting and hollering, amen, amen, and snapping their fingers as if that's cute. They wouldn't do that if they had gone to a traditional white ceremony or a Jewish ceremony. They would have more respect. But they do it and they act like that because they care nothing about your culture. They care nothing about your lifestyle.
It's a mockery. Because he act like,
for them.
I'm down with these people. These are my people. Did she try to fit in?
They try to fit in.
Some of the event that she been doing.
It's nothing more than a minstrel show. That's all what it is.
Let me play this one last clip, and I think the time is.
Democrats didn't stand to keep men out of women's sports. They couldn't even clap for a girl who got her head smashed in by a man on a volleyball court. Democrats didn't stand for an innocent and beautiful child who is surviving brain cancer. They opposed eliminating taxes on tips and Social Security. They didn't stand in favor of cutting taxes for hardworking Americans. They couldn't even clap for two mothers whose daughters were killed by illegal aliens. One of the only things that could get Democrats off their feet last night was cheering for Ukraine, not for America. Last night was a very clarifying moment for our country. The Democrats expose themselves as the party of insanity and hate, the party that wants to put America last. They've allowed their Trump derangement syndrome to stop them from celebrating America and our people, and we will not allow them to forget that. And it's not just the Democrat Party. The mainstream media still doesn't get it. Last night, MSNBC's Nicole Wallace disgustingly looped in a 13-year-old boy with brain cancer into an attack on the president over January 6th. People.
Here we go, Dr. White. I saved the good for last for you. Here we go.
These people are something terrible, you know, because of Ukraine's and Zelensky's bad ways. They don't. But President Trump has fast-tracked 240,000 Ukrainians to be deported. Ukrainians that the Biden administration, listen to my words, had given reparations to. And that is taking money that was frozen by the Russians and giving it to them, living better than you and I in our own country. And Trump said today, no more. Fast track those son of a guns. Go back to Kyiv and fight your own war. Bravo to Mr. Trump.
Well, Dr. White, go ahead and take the last word while you on it. After that, Amania, because the time is not in our favor.
Well, we're going to continue to bring truth to you, and this is the best talking radio show in our area. And you may not like what we say, but we will always interest you, and you will get something from it. And that is a real perspective of analysis. Keep up the good work, my colleagues.
Thank you, Dr. White, and hopefully for your safe return back to Orlando.
I'll be back Sunday.
Have a good one.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir.
Well, last words here, friends. We didn't get any calls today, and we really ask that you all try to engage. We know you're out there
They
listening.
can't call. They can't.
But this is a community conversation. And
They're so ashamed.
Yeah, I get it. They're ashamed. I
No,
get it. But we still need to have dialogue.
Amania, TDS.
We still need dialogue, friends.
See, you got all these pastors who like Jamal White in this community.
We didn't even talk about that. Man, there's so much to talk about.
Who preach the hate.
Yeah, friends, we have to engage.
I think these pastors also they live the insanity of hate. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have to engage. I want to just let you all know we have a live event coming to you live April 5th. It's a Saturday, Liberty Halls. We're having Wives Speak, and that is going to be a panel of lovely women talking about how to uplift the family unit, talking about how to encourage young women, young girls to be great ladies and great wives. So it's going to be a phenomenal event, and we're welcoming you. It's free. We're going to be serving lunch.
Did you invite Miss B?
I didn't invite Miss B, but we'll have to ask. We'll have to invite her.
She's a great wife.
Okay, we'll have to invite her.
You got to invite Miss B.
All right. Yeah, so thank you very much for that. And you can find information on our Facebook. Find me on Amania at Facebook. Find me on YouTube at The Conservative Poet. And we have an Eventbrite page that you can go and sign up. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Amania. Shout out to my good friend Don Miller. Check out his show tonight. He's going to have a great show on his Facebook page. Don Miller, hello, my brother. How are you, my man? And shout out to Shanti. Love you, girl. Glenn, to the whole staff here at WOKB. And thank you, Jeff, for another great show. Miss B, she's inviting you to a woman conference show as great wife. You know, I would love to listen to her perspective.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
She's looking wonderful. The only thing here, she got her hair's always like, always different thing looking out here. Oh, awesome.
Good today.
Oh, my God. Let's take it, Jeff. Thank you. I'll see you guys next Thursday. Appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, Orlando, this is Hezekiah Walker. Join me for my countdown every Sunday from 12 to 2, right here on your 3-time Stellar Award-winning station, Inspiration 1680 WOKB.
Hi, this is Brother Jay. Join me every Thursday night from 9 p.m. to 12 midnight as I take you down memory lane with classic memories like this.
Sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine.
Remember, that's Classic Memories every Thursday night with me, Brother Jay, from 9 p.m. till 12 midnight, right here on 1680 AM and FM 100.7 Kissimmee.
You're listening to Inspiration 1680.